Hello, PSP. I'm here to tell you about a course by Terry Real that's called The Cure for Trauma is Intimacy. Terry has a different perspective on things, but one that is really compatible to a lot of types of therapy. He taught alongside Dick Schwartz for quite a while. I guess they traveled together, and Dick would do work at a conference, and then Terry would do work at a conference, and people would get to see them like one right after the other. Very relational. So if you like IFS, you might also like Terry's work because there's some similarities. Of course, we're talking about intimacy and trauma. Uh, and the classes started by naming that the impact of loneliness is as bad for physical health as smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes a day or 6 alcoholic drinks. And the cure for addiction, just like cure for trauma, is a healthy relational connection. In fact, the number one predictor of healing from PTSD is perceived social support. Terry comes at things with a point of view that there are two pillars of misery. The first one is individualism, which is a belief that we stand apart from nature. And the second is patriarchy, which is the belief that we stand above nature and control it. With this understanding, his approach is that there's often a grandiose partner and a disempowered partner. And this is how folks end up being unhappy in relationships. The disempowered partner is the one who will drag their grandiose partner into therapy. And he's worked with a lot of couples that no one would take on, or who maybe got fired from other couples therapists. And he asserts that one of the reasons why this happens is because, under the guise of neutrality, we throw the disempowered partner under the bus. Oof. Most forms of therapy come from either a place of love or a place of truth. And in this form of therapy, we're utilizing both of those things. We're trying to stand, in fact, in between those things, at the conjunction of love and truth, instead of one or the other. So, going back to the grandiose client and the disempowered client, is a lot of the time the disempowered client is very happy to do their work in therapy. And often the grandiose partner is the person who's more resistant to treatment. And the reason why it's important to have the love and the truth in the room is because we can't love a grandiose client into wanting to change. The way that they put it is that we need leverage. We need to know what will motivate this client, which is often an external motivation rather than an internal one. And we need to know how to use that leverage. Alliance comes after leverage. And so, things that this looks like is, you can walk out the door and storm off right now, but this is what's going to happen if you do. Your partner might leave. You might not get to rebuild with your children. You could lose your job, whatever it is that that person would be fearful of losing, essentially, is what's really important to name in the therapy room. That being said, we're not looking to shame anybody, and I have found this quote to be really helpful so far. It's a definition of healthy self-esteem, which is holding warm regard for the self while feeling bad about bad behavior. Shamelessness, not feeling bad about anything, is grandiosity, while constant shame, feeling bad about everything is toxic, and it's toxic to the psyche as well as toxic to the body. So we want to be able to stand in a place in between those things. A lot of this work is also teaching people what abuse is, what neglect is. Um, One question we use a lot is, when you got injured as a child, who tended to you? And a lot of clients will try to, explain why, and it's not a, I was that always tell people, like, we're not in a parent bashing session right now. It's just more curiosity, like, what happened? How did you learn about getting your needs met or not? And how is that showing up now? Thank you for joining me. I hope that this is helpful to you, and I will see you in our next summary.